How's it going today, Michelle?
Hey, Lindsay, I'm good. How are you?
Good. What are we talking about today?
This is going to be a fun one. Today, so Lindsay, we've talked about using bad language on the show before.
Sure.
Remind me, do you curse? Do you use curse words?
I mean, we all do sometimes, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we all do. I try to avoid it just because it's not the most polite language. But if I stub my toe or something, sure. Yeah. Quietly
Hmm.
under my breath at home.
Really? You're going to be quiet if under your
Okay,
breath if you stub your toe? That's
maybe
when I
I'm
scream
glossing it
it.
over here. Maybe I'm glossing it over. Yeah. Yeah. I scream it.
That would be that would be impressive. I remember before we went to France, I stubbed my toe. I think I even made an Instagram video about it. It was so hard, it hurt for, like, 2 months. I could hardly
Oh.
walk in France.
Oh, geez. I'm surprised you
Yeah.
didn't break it. It sounds like a broken toe.
It wasn't,
Gosh.
but it was like, I don't know, it was terrible. Anyway, so that I'm sure I did let out a big one.
I'm sure you did. Yeah. But generally, yeah, it's better to avoid it in
Yeah.
public and all that stuff for sure.
I think it also depends on who you're talking to. Like, if you're with
Of
someone, maybe
course.
you have a friend who curses more and then you're led to do it. But I try not to do it too much either, especially in front of my kids. But of course, and also then some are more benign than others. But yeah.
Well, especially because kids are like sponges, right? And they
Mhm.
they could easily start repeating like at school what they hear you saying and then
Yep, I've heard one or two already, and I blame Dan.
That's
I
hilarious. That is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Yes, yes, and it's always, like, the best thing to do is just to not react. I think it happens to all kids, and because you wanna just laugh or say, "Don't say that," but, you know.
Right, right. Just
Anyway.
don't repeat it again and they'll forget about it. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Guys, before we get into today's episode, which is going to be a great topic, very human topic,
yes.
go over to episode 2125. Check it out. That was from January 4th, How to Share Your Faults in English for Deeper Connection. Go check that out. We love episodes that help you show you how to be human in English, and that is one of them too.
Yeah.
2125. All right.
Definitely. So
Mhm.
today we're going to talk about there are some ways that we warn people that we're about to say something inappropriate or maybe we have said a bad word. So we're going to talk about that. We have a few to share for today, but I think this is important for connection. It can be a little bit funny. It can be a genuine warning to someone, maybe like a parent.
Yeah.
And it can show you have like big emotions about something. So let's go through a little bit about what we mean here.
Yeah, this is fun. So, well, by the way, before we get into this, I want to remind you guys, in the Connected Communicator course, we did a whole lesson on swearing, cursing, like
Hmm.
how to do it. And
Hmm.
just we interviewed someone, a tattoo artist in Portland, and that was the lesson from that. That was the learning from that lesson. So, if you're interested in that course, it's over at allearsenglish.com/connection. Really interesting. Michelle.
Actually, as a part of my master's degree, I did a whole presentation on curse words. And I don't know where I got the guts to do this, but as my introduction, I spoke about my weekend and I used all the curse words I could think of, like in front of the teacher. Because
Yeah.
it's about linguistics and these kinds of
Yeah,
things.
for
And I
sure.
used that as a way and it was such a shocking way to start it out, and I just had so much fun with it, and the teacher actually loved it.
I think you're
So
bringing out your inner New Yorker and your
yeah, yep.
inner kind of drama
My
performance
inner
performer, you know?
My cousin Vinny is
Oh
I
my
remember.
gosh.
The
Hilarious
language
movie.
in that one, they it flies. So
We've talked about My Cousin Vinny on this show. It is so good. It's so good.
and it stands the test of time, I think, for the most part. But
Sure.
anyway, so one thing you can say is pardon my French or excuse my French.
Yeah. Now
Do
I
you
wanna
hear
make
this
a
one a lot?
I wanna make a caveat. We have nothing
Yeah.
against French. I actually don't know why.
I don't know
It's
why
not pardon
either.
my Spanish, pardon my Arabic, pardon my Japanese. I don't know why. We don't know why. This is not a value judgment on
No.
French. It's just that
No,
we're just showing you guys what we say, what people say, okay? So
I
don't,
don't
you
know
know.
why. Don't be offended if you're a French
Yeah.
speaker, please don't.
Yeah, please don't.
It's just something that's said. It's,
Yeah. This is
I don't get it, but it's
Yeah, I
kinda
mean, on
interesting.
this show, we wanna show you real English, the way native speakers use it, and if we didn't show you this, we would be missing one of the major things people do say when they swear,
Yeah.
to apologize for it, okay?
Yeah,
So, take it
because
for
if you
what it is.
didn't exactly, and if you didn't know this and you heard somebody say, "Pardon my French," and then they use a
What?
curse word, then you might be like, "Well, that's not French."
Yes, yes, right. It would be very confusing, so we're just trying to inform you. If you don't like the fact that we're talking about French, then you can not say it, right? But just I want you to
Yeah,
understand it when someone uses it. So with all
it's
that caveat out of
helpful.
the way, Michelle, let's do a
Let's
role
get that
play.
out of the way. Alright. Okay, here we go.
All
Oh,
right.
actually, no, this isn't a role play. This is just these are 2 examples.
Oh, okay. Here's an example then. I'm exhausted. Pardon my French, but I need a beep nap.
That we're
So
using beeps and different sounds today, guys, because
beeps
we're
and
not
different
gonna curse
sounds.
on the show.
No,
But yeah,
we don't curse on the show, but, you
yeah.
know what words to insert if I mean, you can find them on YouTube, you can find them anywhere, right? Movies, music, yes, you know.
Yes, yes, exactly. So, pardon my French here, you're saying it before. You're apologizing before. Um,
Mhm.
Here's another way it could be used. She is beep gorgeous. Pardon my French.
All right, I like it. So that is one bucket, one thing we can say to apologize either before dropping the curse word or after it, right?
Yep. Yep, exactly.
Okay.
It's either a warning or an apology. Both an
Right.
apology, I guess. Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
what's another one you could say? This is not dealing with any other language.
All right, here we go. So we could say, excuse my language. So
Yes.
your language meaning the word you just said, just that word, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. So here, imagine I just said beep,
Right, right.
and
Okay.
then you say,
Michelle.
sorry, sorry, please excuse my language.
I like that. Okay, Michelle, what would be the next one that we could say? This is more when you're talking to kids. This is fun. I actually hadn't heard this until
Oh,
today.
no? Oh, this is a fun one. This is a little bit different. It's used more frequently when children are around or maybe even teenagers. So
Hmm,
it's not necessarily with a bad word, although it could be. It just might be somebody you might need to say something that's a little inappropriate, and it's a signal that they shouldn't listen to a certain part. And maybe it's not even inappropriate. Maybe it's just something you don't want them to hear.
of course.
So you say earmuffs. Lindsay, do you ever wear earmuffs in the winter?
I don't, but sometimes I wish I were wearing them when it gets so cold. Yeah. They cover your
I
ears
l
nicely. Yeah.
I love earmuffs. Because I have very sensitive ears. Sometimes even just on a on a summer night, there's a breeze and my ear hurts.
Earmuffs in the summertime, Michelle.
No, I don't wear earmuffs in the summertime, but I can get like if it's like windy, my ears are very sensitive. So I
Okay,
love
I see.
earmuffs in the winter. Actually, I should get a new pair for this winter. I don't
Got
even
it.
have any right now. This is how it might sound. I could say something like, "So I have to tell you this story, Lindsay. Okay, earmuffs. Okay,
And I didn't see you on the video, guys. By the way, we're on YouTube. This video is over on YouTube, so check it out. But did you do this? Earmuffs? Did you put
wait,
your
I
hands
can't
on your
see you
ears?
right now. Oh,
Did you put
no,
your hands on your
no,
ears?
did I? Okay, I actually don't know. Maybe it was so natural. I'd have to go back. I
Yeah,
probably did
I
actually.
imagine you would, especially around kids. Earmuffs, right? Just
Earmuffs,
putting your
right. Or
yeah,
you might
sure,
but if it's a child that it's okay to touch them, you might
yeah,
even do it close to their head too. Like,
sure,
if it's your own kid or something like that.
yeah,
Don't go
of
around
course.
doing that.
Of course, of course. And so, let me see. When are you most likely to use a curse word, Michelle? What would you say? Tell me about your curse word stance when you're in New York. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to what I said. I think it depends on who you're with. Well, number one, I definitely let out a big word when I stubbed my toe. If I am maybe in a hurry, I might curse to myself. If I think a lot of times it's if I can't find something and I'm in a rush.
Okay.
You
Mhm.
know, so that'll happen. Just rattling off all the ways. No. And then, if I'm talking to a friend who might curse more frequently, it's interesting how it comes out more with specific people. But now I just sound like I curse all the time,
What
but
about
it's
road
not true.
rage? Do you curse when you drive? Like, curse at cars? Be honest.
Do I curse at probably? Uh,
Probably,
but I
probably,
wouldn't say
okay.
I don't drive that much, so,
Okay, that
uh,
helps, yeah.
so maybe
Yeah.
in my head, if somebody how in New York you gotta walk fast, maybe if I'm behind someone super slow, I'm not gonna do it out loud, but in my head, I might be cursing.
Yeah, tourists
I
kind
sound
of
so mean, I'm not.
sauntering around, right? Yeah, that's true. That can happen. Me too. I mean, whenever I stub my toe, certainly I do it under my breath or sometimes out loud, very loud at home. It happens. We're human, right? This is part of communication. All of our listeners, there are curse words in their languages too. You guys know what they are, obviously, in your native language. You probably use them sometimes as an adult in one way or the
Mhm.
other, right?
Yeah. I mean, Lindsay, what about growing up for you? Did your parents discourage cursing? Did you
Yeah, they did.
did you have
Yeah.
to like avoid certain shows or things with curse words, or how was it?
Yeah, I did for sure, for sure. Like I couldn't watch R-rated movies at home until I was a certain age. They were pretty sensitive around like
Mm.
what movies, and I couldn't watch MTV when I was a
Oh,
kid, so I couldn't watch
until you were
that.
how
And
old, would you say?
I don't know, maybe 12, I don't know, 12, 11 or 12 or something. I don't
Mhm.
remember
Yeah.
exactly. And then yeah, they were sensitive around that for sure. They tried not
Mhm.
to curse, but I still heard them cursing at home, right? Maybe after we were in bed or something, like I
That's
stubbed my toe.
funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, for me, I feel like mine was a little bit different. Yeah, I, like, watched my cousin Vinny when I was a kid with my parents, and,
Mhm.
there's a lot of cursing there. I would say that, that they were not so protective with, um, those kinds of things, like, because my mom always felt, "Oh, if like, it'll just go over my head if I don't understand it, and
Mm.
I just, like, won't think about it, and she always felt if I did understand it, then I'm old enough to understand it."
Okay,
So that was
interesting.
that
Yeah,
was her
interesting
thinking.
philosophy. Yeah.
But
All
I
parents have a
remember,
different philosophy.
right, exactly. But I remember, I just forgot what I was gonna say. No, I wanted to share this. Alright, if it comes back to me.
Well, I can tell you, I do like I find myself sometimes around my niece or my partner's, I guess my niece too, niece and nephew cursing sometimes, and then oops,
Mhm,
right?
yep.
Because they're young kids. It happens. It happens,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly, exactly. So, oh man, I wish I could remember what I wanna say, but that's okay.
Another
Um,
episode, Michelle. Let's do a role
another
play,
another
shall we?
episode. Let's do it. Okay, so we're not gonna use all, we'll just use a couple of these.
Okay.
So because 'cause we're not cursing like crazy in this conversation. But
Right, right. Sure. So here we are friends, and
Mhm.
I run into you and your daughter. Okay.
Okay.
So you have a kid. Here we go. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, so good to see you.
Ouch. Beep. Sorry. Pardon my French.
Are you okay?
Yes.
I have to tell you something. Earmuffs, Jade. Earmuffs.
Oh, what is it?
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I
All
wanna write
right.
this.
So here I stubbed my toe or I banged my knee or oh, you know what the is worse than stubbing your toes? Hit your
Funny
funny
bone.
bone.
A funny bone. I knew
Oh
you were
my
gonna say that.
gosh. The funny bone. I did that a few weeks ago in my bedroom and oh, did it hurt. It hurt for like 3 days and it just
Oh,
resonates throughout your whole arm.
yeah. That's a
Yes.
bad one. It's so funny it's called a funny bone,
It's
so.
funny. It's a funny bone. And then so I said, "Pardon my French," right? And again, we told you guys earlier about the language thing. Don't worry about it. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but
Yep.
and then you said,
And then I said, I have to tell you something, earmuffs, Jade, and I might do earmuffs like this. And so I'm
right,
basically talking to my daughter and telling her, like, don't listen to this. Maybe but
right,
it could be something very benign as well. It could be that I'm telling about like a surprise party I'm throwing for
sure.
her dad or something like that. Like that
Right.
one doesn't have to be about language, I don't think.
Oh, for sure. For sure. 100%. So that one's a little bit more versatile, just more when you're around children or teenagers and there's just not for them, right? What you're going to say. So really useful. Michelle, any takeaways here about cursing and preparing someone? This episode is less about cursing, more about preparing someone for a curse word or apologizing for the curse word, right?
Exactly. Guys, it's good to and also you don't every time you curse, you don't need to use one of these. Like, it would be
Of course. Yeah.
you don't wanna be in a conversation and like, "Excuse
No.
my language, pardon my French," like, just listing them all off for everything, especially if you're someone who is also who you're having a conversation with someone who's cursing, like, you don't it's fine.
Sure. Of course, you want to match who you're with, right?
Right, right.
Hmm.
So, but basically, it's good to know this in case you do use a word and you want to signal that you're about to say something bad, or, I
Hmm.
mean, but it's also good, like we talked about, you might not be going out saying, excuse my French, but if you hear somebody say, excuse my French, and they're not speaking French, you'll know why they said, excuse my French.
Yeah, 100%, right? We want to know what's coming and understand it when we hear it, right?
Definitely.
And
Yes.
just another reminder before we finish up, guys, if you want to go deeper into how to curse, we do teach you that, not on this podcast, but we teach it to you inside the Connected Communicator. So go over to allearsenglish.com/connection. That is a 12,000-mile journey to fluency that you take with us by video lesson.
Yes.
Super interesting. All right,
Yes,
Michelle,
for
you have,
sure.
yeah, you have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Fun topic today.
Yes, this was fun. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye.